Okay, so for today in psychology, you're taking a look at the Pq4R method, which is a note-taking method that is really beneficial to learning new material in school. I wanted to give a couple tips via a video on how to complete today's lesson, because you're going to first off read the section about the Pq4R method, which is Chapter 6, Section 4, but then you are actually going to do the Pq4R method. But that is on Chapter 6, Section 1. So again, we're reading Chapter 6, Section 4, but we're going to look back in our textbook and complete our activity on Lesson 6.1, or Chapter 6, Section 1, okay? So here's what we need to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the activity for us here. So you'll notice that I have some things to keep in mind here. For our activity today, you will be applying the Pq4R strategy that you read about in Chapter 6, Section 4 to take notes on Chapter 6, Section 1. Remember the steps in Pq4R. We need to preview, question, read, reflect, recite, and review to learn. Follow the outline below and submit in the Dropbox to receive your credit for today. So what you're doing, guys, is you're taking notes on Chapter 6, Section 1, not Chapter 6, Section 4, and you're going to follow the Pq4R method. For example, for the preview section, you need to turn to Chapter 6, Section 1, and click through the section to start. So what you're doing here is you're just taking a first glance at things. And once you've taken a first glance at things, what you're going to do is examine the beginning of the chapter on page 126 in your book. And then take a look at those questions and tell me which one applies the most. After that, you're going to click through the entire section and tell me some headings that help you understand what the chapter's about. And then you're going to look at the section review questions at the end of the reading. From there, you're going to tell me what that is about. And then you've completed the first step. For the second step of the Pq4R method, you're going to question. So for the question step of Pq4R, it is the most helpful to examine the headings, both the section and paragraph, to see what the main ideas are. So for here, we're still not at that read step, we're going to make some questions, okay? So what you're going to do is you are going to go back through and look at the headings, and you're going to turn the headings into the questions. So, for example here, I did one for the title of the section, which was classical conditioning. So if I were to put that in my assignment and in my Pq4R notes, I would say, what is classical conditioning? So if you go through the book, you will see many different headings throughout. Let me go ahead and pull that up for us so you can see it. Okay, so I've pulled this up for us. So we're looking at Section 1. When we're looking for headings to turn into questions, look for anything that's in a different color. So your next one here would be Ivan Pavlov rings a bell. How would you change that into a question? There's lots of different answers here, but remember that you're providing a question that can be answered through the reading. So I would keep it pretty basic, kind of just what you're wondering if you look at it. Let's take a look at a couple other pages together. So here we see another heading. Maybe you can turn that into a question. And here we even see a smaller heading with that taste aversions right there. That can be turned into a question as well, okay? So you're taking a look at the headings and you're turning them into questions for the second step. Going back to our activity, your next step is to read. So you're going to read the chapter with the intent of answering the questions. So, I've given you answer blanks for the questions. You're going to provide them there, okay? The fourth step is reflect, and this is when I really need you to stop and think for a moment, because saying, I don't know, this is not important, will not get you credit here. You need to use your brains, guys. So what we're doing is you're thinking about how this is relevant and how it could relate to you. So please compose a few questions and think about experiences you, your family members, or a friend might have had that relate to the study of classical conditioning and the answers and items that we have looked at today. So here you'll share a little bit about their story, your story, whatever example you have. Section 4 is recite, and you don't have to worry about that one. For that, I'm just asking you to read aloud the notes that you've created. So go back through this new worksheet and read them to you. And then for your sixth step, it's to review. And you're going to review the materials one last time before you turn this in to make sure that you have completed the activity correctly. It's a great excuse to double check your work. And then I put in a final reflection question here. I would just like you guys to think about how the Pq4R method might be helpful for school and for completing your assignments. Once you've done that, you're going to submit it into the digital Dropbox for today. And if you need any help or don't understand, please contact me. I'd be happy to personally walk you through this as well, okay? Have a great day.